Lasers simplify the process of engraving jewelry. You can add detailed designs and personalized touches in a matter of minutes. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to use the new xTool F2 to engrave metal jewelry with deep, dark impressions. Before you jump into engraving any of your pieces, you need to figure out your settings. You'll need to run a test array against a scrap of the material you want to engrave or score. This will help you figure out which setting best suits your needs without wasting expensive blanks. Let's walk through the material test array generator available in xTool software to figure out what our settings will be for deep, dark engravings. First, create one object you want to use as the test source. This object will be repeated for each power and speed combination in the test. I'm using text for my object because it's the hardest to get right. Engraving squares and circles isn't really going to show you how fine lines and curves are going to look. On this object's properties, set the mode to engrave, laser type to infrared, and lines per centimeter to 300. Then from the toolbar, open the applications panel and select the material test array option. Here you can configure the range of values you want your test to include for the power and speed settings. For the power, we'll test between 85% and 100%. We only want to have 4 columns for power. You can also reduce the spacing between the columns to minimize waste. For the speed, let's go with a tighter range of 2 to 10 millimeters per second spread over 5 rows. It should be noted that you can make these values any range you like. I'm just showing you the ones that are most likely to give you deep and dark results. Hit done and the test will be generated and placed in your project's workspace. To help reduce material waste, I like to toggle the output off on everything except for the actual objects. Typically, once I figure out the settings, I take a photo of the test results and edit in the grid values to reference later, so I don't need it directly on the material anyway. Now we're ready to run the test. I'm first running the test on stainless steel and silver, followed by stainless steel with a gold finish. When the tests are done, dip them into a jewelry cleaning solution like the one I have here, then work it in with your finger. This will remove any residue from the engraving process. See how nasty it is? Blot it away with a paper towel, then give it a quick polish with a jewelry polishing cloth. Let's examine the test results of the silver stainless steel card. You can see how the differences are quite subtle, but ultimately 100% power at such slow speeds makes the edges too chunky, and lower power settings don't darken the engraving enough. These are all great, but selecting one you want to use really depends on your preferences. I personally prefer the darkest engraving I can get on metals, so I know I want to go with something with 100% power. Since the xTool F2 has a 5-watt infrared laser, I know I can go a smidge faster than my F1. I ran a second test that only targeted 100% power against a wider range of speeds not included in the first test. The level of darkness I prefer starts to fade after 10 millimeters per second, so I'm going to take that as my final preferred setting. A third and final test of various fonts lets me verify the settings once more before engraving to real jewelry pieces. Something measure twice, cut once. As far as the gold-treated stainless steel goes, I love the lighter results, but honestly, I hate gold jewelry. Now that you have your settings nailed down, you can wow your friends with fairy smut-themed jewelry. Elegant and timeless treasures. But really, testing and getting your settings was the bulk of the work. Just remember that you should run these same tests on any new materials you want to engrave later. Not all metals are alike. Also, you could start with my settings, but you may find a faster speed or a lower power option that's more to your liking. The important thing is that you will have tested before screwing up your great-great-grandmother's heirloom silver locket. That was oddly specific. One of the trickier aspects of engraving jewelry is getting your design positioned correctly. Back in the dark ages, like 2 years ago, before lasers came equipped with fancy cameras, the best way to position your designs was to create a makeshift jig out of paper or cardstock. Thankfully, the F2 has a high-definition camera, autofocusing, and the ability to display the outline of your design on the object before engraving it. All of those features make this step a heck of a lot easier. First, place your object in the work area, then click the autofocus button in xTool software or on the machine. This will set the focus and grab a snapshot of the work area. Now you can position your design. However, before processing, use the framing feature to verify placement from the machine itself. There are 3 options for framing: rect, outline, and polygon. Choose whichever best suits your design and click on the framing button to toggle on the display. Feel free to nudge the object around to get everything lined up the way you want it. You can even resize the object and move move it around in the software and the active frame will adjust. If it's way off, you probably have bad focus, so don't hesitate to manually adjust it or try autofocus one more time. Just make sure to recapture the snapshot and verify framing after you do that. Let her rip and bask in the glory of your results. Here's a quick reference guide for my favorite fonts, suppliers, and preferred settings. I'll leave this information in the description below the video as well. Thank you so much for your undivided attention. Please be sure to tip your waitress and floss your teeth before going to bed. Bye!